This is your daily market review for Tuesday, March 25th, 2025. Let's go. Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well. This is Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka The Trading Agent, your daily market review for Tuesday, March 25th, 2025. Hopefully you're doing great. Another interesting day in the market. Talked about the levels. We hit the levels, talked about the action potential, talked about a lot of things that seem to be playing out. Again, in a probability-based game, no one's selling certainty, but again, with a very high batting average, we tend to be right more times than wrong. So if we're wrong, it happens, but when we're right, you expect it. Again, it's like you get on base, you get to hit a hit, you know what to do, you hit a home run, you don't need to be proud. You're always looking for the next at bat and the next idea. So again, if you're new to the channel, check out the Discord room, links description below. We know we had some weakening data. We've got PCE coming up in the end of the quarter. Looks like got some durable orders tomorrow, and then looks like Elon's bringing some robots to the White House tomorrow. All fun and games until someone gets confused, right? So if you're new to the channel, check out the Discord room, links description below. We're going to go into it deep. Let me know if you have any questions. If you want to chat, use the Calendly link, 30 minutes. Let me know how I can help you. If you'd like to follow the trades that we're posting, thoughts and ideas. Also posting some of them on Twitter. If you need help, again, people who are asking questions, I appreciate it. I would recommend, again, go and watch all of these videos. They're all very unique, but also sometimes they overlap in some of the ideas and thought processes and mindset. Because again, I think this is the thing about trading is you don't know how hard trading is until you've done it all. And I mean, seen it all for years and cycles and elections and seasonality and all this stuff. And I'm telling you, OPEXs and F1, rate cuts, rate hikes, all this fun stuff. And again, this is what these videos are for. So don't hesitate to reach out. We know the fear and greed indicator is starting to creep back towards neutral. Come on, 29, not too bad. Also, to check out the website Trading Agent. Again, lots of resources. I'm telling y'all. And again, there's description about the education series on each of these. So if you're like, not sure which video is what it's about, here you go. So let me know how I can help. Always here. Appreciate all the love, support, and generous donations. All right, let's get into it. So we know going into the next Fed meeting, nothing really coming, right? Keep an eye on it. Nothing really coming. Not much to say. Bitcoin, as we talked about, I don't want to play the ranges, but except for the extremes. I can be patient. This is what people don't realize. Like, I can be extremely patient. And if I miss moves, I don't care either. It allows me to focus on the highest probability trades versus waiting for things to play out, right? The goal here is not to just endlessly wait. The idea is find best trades, the best places, and act on them accordingly. And sometimes some things will not be happening. And so if you don't want to trade Bitcoin, you don't trade Bitcoin. Makes sense? Oil, talked about it, bouncing from these levels. I mean, I think there's a pretty solid bottom in the mid 60s until it's not. This has been going on for like 12 years in this area. Natural gas, again, we like natural gas long term, looking for pullbacks over time. Will we get them? That is the hope. Again, I like commodities long term. Again, it's one of those things where I don't doubt long term they'll be fine. Near term, it's going to be, the same thing. I think the market has upside and downside in potential sectors. Dollar, we talked about being oversold due to bounce, 20 days of first resistance. Again, I don't really care too much about the dollar other than what is is there volatility in it? It looks like we're balancing out here the last couple of weeks. So hence the market getting a little more comfortable. Makes sense. TLT, I like it down here. Keep an eye on it. Just keep an eye on it, right? VIX, talked about this breaking down slowly. Here you go. Here's the 100, 200-day. And again, I'm not going to say it can't go lower, but if you're long stuff, you need to start taking profits. That's all I can really say here. I'm not saying that things can't go higher, but man, you got to be on red alert, right? VIX is, man, it's at the 100, 200-day after a pretty large drop. And we've seen this before where it could go slightly below it. So again, it's just risk reward. VIVX, this is where it gets a little interesting, right? It's up today. The VIVX bottomed. So again, if you're concerned, you might want to take some profits. Keep it simple, stupid. SPY. Here you go. Talked about the 200-day possible. Is it possible to get up to 581? I mean, I referenced that earlier in the week, or sorry, last week. Always possible. Talked about the dead cat bounce. Doji today, light volume kind of dying out here. Again, near term, there could be some more upside. Near term, this is the thing. We don't sell certainty. We trade what we see. And if you want to take shorts, you're not going to know till after. This is what's like so obvious that people don't remember. You don't know if the trade works until after you do it. So if you have your references, you have your levels, you want to trade it, you go right ahead. Get her done. Q, right? We like this. Talked about it. Watching up here. 200-day. A little more upside maybe. I don't know. Near term, definitely. If it is a downtrend, like here's the thing, right? You come off the bottom. Trying to find like a harder bottom. And you got some pretty solid rallies on this one in July. I'm trying to think of another one. I mean, sometimes you get some backup, sometimes you don't. Just keep that in mind. I'm trying to like zoom into some bigger ones. Right, here's an extreme bounce. I guess that was the primary trend. Yeah, I apologize again. Near term, this is what feels confusing, because if this is a bear market, you have to be on red alert for retest. If it's not, then man, we could keep ripping. And it's like, how do you know if it's a bear market? You don't know. You don't know with more tariffs and more crap's coming, how it's going to affect the market. So again, I'm not saying I know for certain, but I do like the idea that we pause here. So, and if you hedge some positions, you wait a little bit going into, new money, new end of the quarter coming up. We know the first is what, it's Sunday. Oh, so it's up Tuesday. So you've got a few more days. I forgot there's 31 days in March. So at this point, down for the quarter, down. I mean, because look at it, December, like January, or where were we? Around here. Okay, just keep an eye on it, guys. Again, I wish I could tell people exactly what's going to happen, but you don't. That's why you manage positions. I like potential upside if you can get over the 200-day. Again, I'm trying to struggle for words exactly, but I wouldn't be surprised some back testing and chopping minimum. All right, there we go. IWM, we talked about, this has been down for 7 straight weeks due to bounce. DIA, same kind of thing, right? Chopping around due to bounce, keeping on it. Gold, we like gold long term. Near term, chopping around. There's, you need to see silver pump, and we're starting to catch a little bit today, but didn't catch up too much. GDX, again, I like the miners holding up pretty well. I'm not a big fan of those hammers. But again, I'm telling you guys, second quarter is typically not good for metals. I'm not saying go out there and short them all, but don't be surprised if there's some profit taking. Especially if you get some truce in Ukraine, you get a little bit of geopolitical calming down. Again, it doesn't mean the miners can't rally. Just be careful. Again, keep it simple. AG, we like these names. Newmont, back up near the highs. Again, another one with a wick, but shorter, like lower high. PAAS seems to be holding up pretty well, but then again, giving it right back. So I personally don't trust them. Again, I'm not saying go ahead and short them, but I don't trust them. Taiwan Semi, this is again, tech has had a decent little bounce. Again, do I trust it? Not so much. Man, Micron, just nothing. AMD, a lot of folks are talking about this thing's pumping to the moon. Again, I like the 120s. I would watch what happens there. NVIDIA, another one that continues to lag. Again, I'm telling you, this is the short of 2025. It's already started. It's just, again, you're going to wave out until the next move. SMCI, again, this one's confusing. I would leave it alone. Intellectual property, personally don't have a real position on it. Again, I think that if it gets bought out, it's not at a significant premium. It doesn't have much value here. So trade the range until it's not the range. And if there's something changes, then you adjust accordingly. AVGO, this one, again, going nowhere. SMH, flat today. Right, not really looking so hot. That Hansel looking so hot right now. Adobe talked about bouncing, right? He said if this is gonna hold, you got a nice little zone here. I like it. Seems to be holding up. Apple holding up better. Nice little bounce. 20-day coming 200-day. I don't know. Again, keep an eye on it. Amazon. If you have to roll up stops, you do it, or you manage your profits however you want. Some of these names look like they had bigger upside off the. They got some of them got ripped, right? Meta, man, we're up in this chop range. I'd be watching this area. CRM, we talked about this one getting slapped around. Nope, 200-day. Google, chopping around, right? These all made sense due to bounce. How much gap fills on the horizon, 200 days. A lot of these all look very similar. Just keep in mind, like, will they bottom in a straight line? That is the question, which I'm not a big fan of those and believing in that. But again, I could be wrong. Microsoft bouncing, NDAQ, this one gets Little interesting up here near the 50, 100-day MicroStrategy. We talked about this one bouncing, that it could get up into this level. Congrats. Now you need some more Bitcoin pump to get into the 390s, if I had to guess. Netflix, this one's been holding up extremely well, right? Chopping around. Looks interesting here. I mean, not that I would go out and short this one tomorrow, but if you wanted to short this in this area, it does make sense. Because I'm trying to show you some bulls and bearish trades. Roblox, right? Here's another one. Chopping around. Nice little bounce. We'll see. PanW, again, I like this one a lot. Was really hoping to see the trend line. Didn't get it. Good old Tesla. I'll spend a minute here. Talked about getting up to the 200-day. Got a nice close. Looks like Elon's bringing robots to the White House tomorrow. And that came in the afternoon, got the rally back as Tesla was kind of floundering around 270s, 280, and then caught the pump. Again, I hedged TSLA with some calls for next week. Not to say that it can't go higher. It's just my gain is now locked in, which I'm not going to complain about. Amazing trade. I do suspect that the downtrend is always possible here. I've said this. This makes sense. But I don't know if I can trust it completely coming off the lows without getting through some of the delivery numbers coming out next week. We'll see what happens here. Again, I'm not going to sit here and say that it can't go higher, but I'm also going to say, like, you know what? I wouldn't mind some chop, right? Maybe some pullbacks. And again, if it doesn't happen, that's part of trading, right? The goal is to get the fat chunks in the middle. Some people being patient, go right ahead. All right, let's get into some of these other stocks that we just follow. Palantir, keeping an eye on this one. Right, little overbought again, same kind of thing. Insight, chopping around. HIMS, chopping around. Right, again, watch the 30 area. I don't really trust some of these names. Baba, we talked about this. I don't really trust Chinese names, but I don't know if it can really do anything at these levels. You need to see like that 130 level break, or this could be a chop zone. McDonald's is another one we talked about, holding up pretty well. Tried to gap up, tried to break out, gave it back, and this is a tough one. Again, there's a lot of names that are tough. Starbucks, we wanted to short the highs. Now, I don't know, 200-day might get a bounce. Airbnb, we'll see. Airbnb is another one, dead cat bounce. Coin, we talked about this one, breaking below the trend now, trying to get back above the trend line. Is it just a dead cat bounce? I mean, you see the struggle here. Like, you're either in the winners that are going up, or you're just watching. And if you're watching, stick to your names. DKNG, again, I think this thing gets cooked in time. Costco, this one has bounced off of a double bottom. Looks pretty clean there. We'll see how high it can go. Federal Express, one that we talked about dropping on earnings, rallying back now. Maybe it gets a little tired, 20-day. XLF, we talked about financials due to bounce. You got that, right? All right, makes sense here. If you want to look at the FAZ, FAZ. I mean, man, it's back at 545. Just kind of taking notes of stuff. So you can get some cheap on that one. Keep an eye on it, right? So Hood is another one that we've, Robin Hood, everyone's all on that. Here you get the bounce to the 50-day. JP Morgan talked about just bouncing back to the, I don't know. I personally didn't know how high it would be, but if you look at it now, it's like, man, I wouldn't be surprised if it got, I don't know, maybe somewhere up in here. These things did pull back and they do have earnings. Who knows what they're going to say, but this is where you can't be always bearish and always bullish. Like, I'm hoping I'm drilling that into your head, right? So if you had financial shorts, you took some profits like we talked about, and then you let them bounce. Bank of America, same thing, bounce. Goldman Sachs, bounce. Carry, bounce, right? Watch this area because it doesn't really look that strong there. XBI, we talked about, this is a risk on, risk off name, chopping around. Like, if risk is on, it's risk. This is where it gets difficult and that people overthink it. And again, you either have your convictions and you roll up your stops, you trade around your positions, or sometimes you just get out of the way and you wait for things. We'll see what happens. Again, if you have great price action, or if you have great entries, manage your position. Jets, we talked about this one bouncing a little bit. XHB, look at housing, just not really giving you much. Chopping around. All right, let's go into the new commodity names because this is where it gets fun. I think Dow, right, makes sense down here. I put down the bottom of the trend line. I put 34s. I'm watching that one at 34s. CE, again, I like a lot of these names, but I don't know if I want to chase them on the pops. I don't really have a price on that. Actually, I have 51.15 there, but not going to do anything. Caterpillar, again, I like these ones, but could they chop around? DE, this one's been holding up pretty damn well. Can't really do anything with it. It looks like a wedge. I don't know if I want to play with that. Nucor, again, guided down, but said the second half of the year. I would love to see the new maybe here, I'll just draw it for you guys. I think this area would be sick. All right, let's just put an alarm at the top of it. 121. Keep an eye on that. X has been holding up pretty well. Again, it clearly looks like they're going to get bought at some point, right? Chopping, but holding up. I mean, not chopping, but chopping in a big range, but back at the range highs. EIILN, chopping around. Again, I like this one. Let's just, I'm going to put these alarms in just so you can see. VALE. This is one that's been holding up pretty well. If you bought in the 8s, congrats. Now it's chopping around under the 200 egg. It needs to get over it. Arrow, again, I like junior copper. I would really like to see it, again, somewhere in the mid-12s. I think that would make sense. FQVLAF, this one's chopping around at the breakout. Seems to be holding up pretty well. Again, the only thing I don't like about breaking over highs is I want to see conviction with volume. Not really getting it. SCCO, again, we like the copper name, right? Chopping around. They've had some nice bounces. FCX, right? Chopping around. This one actually been looking better. Yeah, again, these look pretty good. It's interesting how this had like the down channel formation again, and then boom, ripped right back. Seen that before. URNJ. I like uranium. Man, I can just set the alarm on this one. I don't know why I don't. Because I've been so focused on Tesla. I would like this one around somewhere in the 14, like low 14s. Like that looks juicy, dunky dunk. CCJ again, but you have to keep in mind if the market gets shredded, these names are all out the window. So you have to have stops. Define your CCJ around 40. CF. I like CF, but look at this thing. It broke below the trend line today. I still have my alarm down there. We'll see if it comes. Keep an eye on it. Mosaic, right? Another one that we liked, but due to bounce, here goes a channel high. Let it pull back. Let me throw another alarm down in here. 24. SQM, another one we like that's been holding up really dang well. Pulling back. NTR, I mean, got pretty cooked today. And again, it failed the top. AA, again, we like AA a lot, but again, I don't want to buy until we get some bigger pullbacks. Kalu's another one we like. Again, I'd like to see this lower. MP, this one's been holding up really damn well, but it's at an old reference zone, so it could get tired. Cliff, another one we like, back near the lows. Your guess is as good as mine on this. When I zoom out, I don't really. Part of me is like, is it going to play the bottom trend line kind of game? Does it need it? Does it need to get there again? I don't know. We'll see. Worth an eye. All right, we'll end it with some solar game. TAN, again, we talked about TAN. It's kind of dead. I don't know why I even watched Sedge. These things look dead. ENPH. Did again, but I like First Solar. Again, I think they have better upside to, like long term. HYG, we talked about corporate debt being you got to be absolutely out of your mind to buy that stuff, in my opinion. Oil chopping around at the highs of recent. I guess it's only 2 days. It seems like. I guess it's because it's this week. Keep an eye on this stuff. Again, I'm not sitting here going to say that UNG and gas can't pull back here because they would make sense. If they did, right? We'll see what happens. XOP, again, if you've taken the XOP, please, you got to start taking some profits up here. Again, not that it can't go higher, but just, man, be on red alert, okay? You got to promise me. Gasoline names typically lead. They're getting a little stuck here, as we've talked about, chopping around. Valero, another one looking chopping around. Not really that excited about these. BP is the one that we liked at the 29.30 level. They're just making lower highs, some of them. ExxonMobil's been on fire, so this is one that's been hard to track in that sense of like if you think these are going to top, but look at this action. It's like doji. Not really people that excited. Occidental, one that we really like, right? Making a new high. Not surprising. It's kind of lagged, but I'd be waiting for pullbacks. I'm going to set an alarm. I think somewhere around this 47 area would be sweet. Keep an eye on that one. Devon Energy is one where, again, we got a few other energy names in here. This one's seems to be holding up pretty well. I mean, again, I apologize. I don't have these all drawn, but it makes sense. Like if you see somewhere in these levels, you just got to watch. Apache is one that looks interesting as well, right? Bounce channel, like bottom bouncing. See what happens here. Lyondell base is another one we like, but man, making new lows. Raggy. Like you have to stop out if you're long this name. But I'd be watching end of quarter. This is one of the things you get the end of quarter window dressing and window destruction. Like people will dump losers. EQT, right? Chopping up around the range highs. CVE, again, this is a big chop zone consolidation. Not that it can't have bottomed, But look what happened. Just be careful. And last but not least, Flex LNG. Again, I love Flex LNG because I think we'll be natural gas exporters in time. So if you have any questions, again, the rest of the week, it's window dressing, potentially, and window destruction, meaning names that are not holding up, right? They're probably going to get crushed. Like the names that have been down for the quarter probably could drop some. Names that have been holding up probably hold up. I mean, it's just one of those things you have to think about, like money managers. They're very vain and they want what their statements show for the quarterly. So be careful on that. Again, I think near term, the bounces, I don't know if it's done, but I think that the upside just gets a little funky when you look at the VIX and the VIDIX. So just trying to recap it. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Always here to help. I appreciate you guys. Have a wonderful evening, and I'll talk to you soon. Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, stop by the Discord room. A link is in the description below. Also, if you'd like to help support more free content, the PayPal link is in the description as well. I appreciate your continued support of the channel.